Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the difference between open deck and closed deck on EJ 25s, and it's pretty standard regardless what motor, but the difference between it being an open deck or semi-closed deck on this side, and this is a closed deck. We're going to go over why you would want it to be done, how it's done, pros, cons. Alright, so here's the open deck or semi-closed deck that came out of my 05 STI. So basically, semi-closed is, you see these supports here, that technically is considered a semi-closed deck, but a true open deck would not have any of those. It would just be fully open around the cylinder walls. But the big cons of having a semi-closed or complete open deck is the strength of your cylinder wall. Especially in boost applications, when you start adding high numbers of boost, these crack. Your cylinder walls crack because there's just not enough material to keep that strength in there. Like, even if you look, that's not a lot. Like, that's thin. That's very thin. Same here. And even here where it's like indented a little bit for the case out bolt, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's like cut out a little bit. You can see it on that side. So, especially like I was saying, for high boost applications, you're going to want to go for a closed deck block like this one. So this being a closed deck, as you can see, it's completely closed, or almost completely closed in around the cylinder walls. It adds a whole lot of support, and it's only about a ½ inch thick. It's a piece of billet aluminum that they CNC machine, and it's like the perfect fit where they just press it in and it fits in perfectly. The only spots you can really tell where the actual closed deck part is you can see like a little bit of discoloration of like from stock to the billet aluminum, but like you can't feel a difference. Like, it feels exactly the same, because also the whole thing's decked after they put it in. But as you can see, there's a lot more material around the cylinder walls, and they can hold a lot more boost, and you don't really see your cylinder walls cracking. Or these are definitely the way to go, especially with like the rotated setups, or if you're pushing high horsepower in Subarus or high boost numbers. Like, as you can see the difference, like these just crack, especially once you start boring them out a little bit more, because stock bore is in a Subaru is 99.50. This one's bored out to 99.75 right now, but this block is toast. This one is bored out to 99.75 right now, but it needs to be bored out to 100. I'm gonna be probably shipping that back to Outfront, have them take a look and do all the machining on that and stuff. Alright, so now that you know the difference between an open deck or a semi-closed deck versus a completely closed deck, let's go about how it's done. So, I briefly talked about it before, but what they do is, this one was done by Outfront Performance. I know IAG also makes closed deck blocks. They used to machine, if you sent your block out to them, they used to machine it for you and closed deck it, but then I reached out to them because I was curious about getting another block closed deck before I obtained this one, and they don't work on customer blocks anymore, like supply blocks, unless you have to buy it from them now. But Outfront, well, you can send your block, like say I wanted to get this one closed decked and it was still like a viable block, send this out to them. They have a CNC machine that machines out pieces of billet aluminum to the perfect size. They have everything scanned and all that crazy stuff, and cut it out to the perfect size. And then after it's in and they press it in and everything, they will deck the top to make sure everything is completely level. But that goes on as just regular machining. Subarus are very particular about how they need to be bored and owned. They have to be done with torque plates on top, which is basically a piece of aluminum that sits over all of this with holes where the cylinders are, and it needs to be torqued down to the exact torque spec as either if you're using head bolts or head studs, same pattern and all that stuff, because Subarus, when you torque down the heads, the cylinders like distort, about like 1 to 2 thousandths of an inch or something like that. And if you bore it without putting the torque plates on it and torquing it down, then when you torque it down with your heads and everything, it's like a tiny bit off, and like that little bit of difference can make a huge difference. So that's, I don't know, I found that very interesting because I've been doing a lot more research about building Subarus, because I've done a lot of work on Subarus, but I've never put together a short block or split a case. That was the first time on this block, but that's how you learn, right? You just jump right into things. We're very particular with that kind of stuff, and you have to be very meticulous with all that, especially like the tolerances and everything. Like once we start actually building the short block, I'll go over more details of tolerances and things that you need to check and how to do it, because I still need to do a lot more research and figure it out, but we'll figure it out, and I'll make a video explaining on how I'm doing it and what research I came up with and tolerances and that kind of stuff. But yeah, just wanted to do a short, quick video of the difference between these two short blocks and why you would want to run a closed deck versus a open deck or semi-open deck. And as you can see, with the one that is closed deck, there still is more ports for the coolant to flow through. So it really doesn't make a difference when it comes to cooling, because it's just this plate isn't all the way through. It's about half an inch thick just on top. So it really doesn't affect cooling that much, and it's not, from my research that I've done, I really haven't seen anything come up with it. And I don't really see any other cons besides the money for it, like paying to get it done. But I mean, if you're modding a Subaru, you know it's expensive and you know what you're getting yourself into. So might as well do it right so it doesn't blow up again. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed or have any more questions or different kind of videos you guys want to see, let me know. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.